Not a bad.
Good evening and welcome to the 198th episode of the Focus TV. How about that? We're closing up to a milestone, so I'm actually paying attention to the numbers. As always, joined by Xavier Wyatt, Raymond Lyons, Cardell Dudley Jr., Wilson Tarpe Jr. Once again, welcome to the Focus TV. On tonight, if you guys don't already follow us on social, give you a quick update in terms of what to expect tonight. We're going to get into the NBA, little Wizards, little G League, some college basketball, GW men's and women's, Maryland women's, the 9-4-50 breakdown as always, of course, with Jamal Hayward. And we're going to get into this whole NBA All-Star discussion. You know, we already know who the starters were a little earlier this evening, like literally within the last hour. The reserves were released. So, you know, we do what we normally do here. We filled out our own All-Star teams, including reserves. And we're going to see how it stacks up against the original list. And then we're going to conclude with rapid fire because, look, man, no show here is complete without rapid fire, especially now. Too much stuff is going on. But we're going to kick things off with the Wizards. Ray, what's the latest with your Washington basketball team?
You still not taking any claim, huh? Not even on a 5-game winning streak?
Sir, I might shall
take
not.
claim now just because of the 5-game winning streak.
I tell you guys.
When they lose again, I'm done. So.
Oh man, but yeah, no, they're on the roll right now, man. Playing some pretty decent basketball. We've been beating the defensive drum the whole season. And they've shown they can play defense at a high level in spurts. We've yet to really see them put a complete game together on that end, but they've played enough defense to win 5 games in a row, and that has been the driving force behind the wins. The offense was never a question, but they've gotten stops when they needed them, and they've really locked teams down when they needed them. They like in the game against the Blazers, they had 2 quarters of giving up less than 20 points. So that's just lockdown defense, plain and simple. There's no other way to explain it. They seem to have found some rhythm. They've gone with the same starting lineup for this 5-game win streak. Garrison Matthews, he's earned his minutes and he's earned the right to start. And since he's been starting, the effort and intensity hasn't dropped off. Same with Mo Wagner. He's come in. He's been an irritant. He's gotten the people. He's added that grit down low that we haven't seen from them since Thomas Bryant went down. So they seem to have found a formula. It's working for them in the moment. Of course they had the big win over the Lakers last night. They tried to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory going down the stretch, but they pulled it out. They got into the overtime and Brad Beal just went to work. Through the fourth quarter, he kind of cooled off, but the others came in and did the job. Denny had a big quarter. Russell Westbrook did some things down the stretch. Got to shout out Rui Hachimura on his defense. Denny Avdia taking the challenge defensively. It was just a complete team effort, man. That's just what you want to see from them. You just want to see them trending in the right direction. Got a tough one tonight on a back-to-back against the other LA team, the Clippers. This is going to be interesting. Of course, the Clippers are one of the best teams in the league, and of course, they have their own superstar duo with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. So it's going to be interesting to see how they attack that. But I expect them to come with the same intensity they have with the past 5 games. So hopefully they can sweep the LA teams and continue this winning streak and continue to clean up these West Coast teams. So yeah, man, it's not as dreary around here. It was even nice outside today in DC. So man, it's good times, man. Good times. I hope we have a lot more laughs this evening for the Wizards recap. That remains to be seen. So man, I'm just going to tune in.
I can't even say it. But Don't worry.
Let's go to tune in this game tonight. At the very least, I do expect them to be competitive. Seeing the way they've been seeing the way they've been playing recently. I don't think it's likely that they come out and lay an egg. It's always possible, but we're going to be positive. They've kind of earned that right recently for us to have some type of optimism towards watching these guys play. So yeah, we will we'll definitely see you guys later on with the recap of that game.
Yeah, Xavier's about to say something extremely petty. That's why I couldn't come out. About to be really, really, really.
I couldn't say it.
That's because that's how you know how bad it was.
I couldn't form the sentence to say it, so I was like, just let it go.
I knew it was about to be so horrible.
You know what I meant.
Horribly petty. Yeah. Go ahead, Cardell. What's going on in the G League, sir?
The Bayhawks. These dudes don't know how to lose, man. A strong second half performance from the area Bayhawks helped erase a double-digit deficit to take a 115-110 victory over the Delaware Blue Coats, who came in previously undefeated. They gave them their first loss of the season. The Bayhawks improved to 7-1. They were trailing 63-49 to start the third quarter. Then the Bayhawks slowly started chipping away at Delaware's lead. Primarily thanks to the player Cassius Winston, who's obviously a Wizards two-way player that they brought down to get some reps. And a center that most people may not be aware of, Gerard Uhoff, who's been killing in the G League from opening day. Winston registered a season-high 19 points, going 5 for 10 from deep, game-high 6 assists, and a season-high 5 rebounds, and a season-high 2 blocks. Yeah. Cassius Winston, like 5'11", 6 feet, getting 2 blocks in the game. That's big in 29 minutes. Uhoff added a team-high 21.6 rebounds to 3 assists in 31 minutes. The Blue Coats led for the majority of the game. They didn't really see their lead start to dwindle until just under 9 minutes left in regulation. Michael Frazier second. Erie couldn't do nothing with him all game long. For the Blue Coats forward logged a season-high 32 minutes and 32 points, which is and dished out a season-high 4 assists and grabbed 4 rebounds. As you can see, he's just unstoppable. His athleticism, he had his way with the front line, but you all stepped up, so it kind of counteracted that. So they pulled off the victory. Aries are actually playing right now against the Fort Wayne Mad Ants as we speak, and they're leading 60-48 with 8:26 left in the third. Just a real quick look at the box score. Hopefully the G League has an update. They are. Jalen Adams is leading away with 14 points, so 6 of 11 shooting right now. And Gerard Uhoff, like we just said, 10 points, 3 rebounds. So back-to-back games, he's on this game. And Cassius Winston, 11 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 4 of 8 shooting from the field. So we're gonna see if they can hold on, man. But right now they're clicking on all cylinders, and they're just running through the G League.
And just as a reminder, Wednesday and Friday nights, G League rundown. Just something else that we've told you guys we've been busy. Ray, that was so kind of you to be so optimistic and talk about tonight when we have the Wizards recap. Tomorrow morning, pretty much, because these West Coast games are hurting. They're hurting mightily.
Yeah.
I got up today and was mad that the sun was up. I was literally mad the sun was up. Sun didn't do anything to me, but I feel like it's going to be like that tomorrow morning too. But again, G League rundown, Wizards outlook, of course, and we're going to move on because there's a lot we have left to get through. It's going to take, before we get to our break, college basketball. Cardell, what's going on in the George Washington men's and women's programs?
Well, GW men's played a game. Yay. We're going to get to that in a second, man. But we're going to get that in a second, man. It's been a minute. But we're going to start with GW women's. They played last Thursday, and they defeated Davidson 59-44 in pretty dominant fashion. GW's defense suffocated Davidson. They held Davidson to 12 points total in the first half. Yes, 12 points total in the first half. And of course, Davidson never really challenged GW after that, despite only being outscored by 2 in the second half, 34-32 by GW. 6'4" freshman center Ali Brigham, who I'm sure will garner some all-conference accolades after the season, scored a team-high 14 points and grabbed 5 rebounds. Point guard Jasmine Whitney finished with a near triple-double, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 steals. And forward Neil Luma added 10 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists, respectively. Guard Cassidy Gold led Davidson with 14 points and 7 rebounds. GW 7 and 12, and they will face George Mason this upcoming Sunday at 2 p.m. Now on the men's side, finally, they actually came through with a very impressive conference win over Rhode Island, 78-70. It was the first game for GW in 7 weeks. Their last game was actually before the inauguration. That's how long ago it was. So COVID hit them hard, real hard. And the last time they played was January 17th. And obviously, as they took the floor against Rhode Island, obviously it was more challenges. They was only able to suit up 7 players, and actually 2 starters missed the game because they're not yet cleared, Matt Moyer and Chase Barr. So that's why it made the win even more impressive. Clearly, with such a long layoff, I had no clue how they would look. Obviously, we all know the only way you can get in full game shape is by playing in games. But GW came out looking sharp, man. They took an 11-5 lead, after a Ricky Lindo Jr. 3-pointer early in the game. Rhode Island responded with a 21-14 run to take a 26-25 lead after a 3-pointer from senior guard Fats Russell. And then it was a back-and-forth affair for the remainder of the first half, but GW did take a 37-35 lead into the half. The second half began with Rhode Island going on a 14-4 run to take a 49-41 lead at the 16:41 mark. Rhode Island freshman guard and former St. John's standout Ishmael Leggett scored 7 of the rounds, 14 points during that run. And each basket he scored, he was assisted by senior point guard Fats Russell. A little bit more on why that's important later. He played a beautiful all-around game. GW fought back after a Jameson battle 3, cut Rhode Island deficit to 1, 51-50 at the 13-10 mark. From then on, it was a typical, 8-10 conference battle with each team going blow for blow down the stretch. It was GW's James Bishop, Jameson Battle, and Ricky Lindo Jr. versus Rhode Island Fats Russell, scoring and setting the table for Leggett, Jeremy Shepard, and Mikael Mitchell, another local product from Wilson and DC Premier and the DC Blue Devils, to score also. In the end, GW's trio showed they showed some big time toughness, man. To be honest, with fatigue and not, obviously being laid off for so long, they fought, they kept pushing. And they proved to be too much as they led GW to victory and closed the game on a 15-2 run. The trio combined for 65 points and shot 23 of 37 from the field and 8 of 15 from deep. GW point guard James Bishop finished with 28 points and 9 of 14 shooting from the field, 3 of 4 from deep. Jameson Battle added 26 points and 9 of 15 shooting from the field, 4 of 9 from deep. And Ricky Lindo Jr., who's become GW Swiss Army knife, he posted 11 points, game high 10 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals and 5 of 8 shooting from the field. Rhode Island 5'10", point guard Fats Russell. Like I said, he was the lead all game long. He finished with 14 points, 10 assists, 9 rebounds, on 4-7 shooting from the field. Freshman guard Ishmael Leggett added a team high 16 points and 4 rebounds, so 6 of 12 shooting from the field and 3 of 6 shooting from deep. And Mikael Mitchell, like I just said, a local product, he contributed with 14 points and 8 rebounds and 2 blocks to lead Rhode Island. GW, 4-9 GW next face George Mason tomorrow at 6 p.m.
All right. It's good to hear that both GW programs got to participate in the game this week, because every week I heard Octavia say something when you first mentioned it. They've been going through it, and they're one of many teams.
Like they didn't play again, and I was like, oh.
And that's the craziest part. They are not alone, and on every level of college basketball, they're not alone. And there's some teams that have to get 10 games in this season. Not being funny, seriously, like teams are legitimately going through it. All right, real quick, the latest with the Maryland Women's on Saturday. They ran past the Minnesota Gophers, sweeping their season series 94-62. Their defense led the way in that one. They scored 23 points off 13 turnovers. Ashley Owusu led Maryland with 24 points. Diamond Miller added 20. Katie Benzin had 17. earlier today. So you remember like a couple weeks ago, like literally the second, it might have been right before inauguration. I was excited because Maryland was supposed to face Iowa. It didn't end up happening because Iowa didn't feel comfortable making the trip down.
Right.
Well, Iowa and Maryland locked horns today. When I tell you guys it was high level shot making, it did not it's not like defense wasn't played. It was outstanding shot making. Caitlin Clark, if y'all have not heard, that girl she's real. She's real. For those who haven't heard her name that much, I don't know how. Google it, find out. She had her ninth 30-point game today. Again, this is a freshman. She had 29 in the first half. This is against Maryland. It's not like Maryland doesn't play defense. She had 29 in the first half. Mind you, hold on. So Katie Benson saw Caitlin Clark and was like, oh, yeah, I shoot too. Katie Benson had 8 threes, tying a Maryland record in the first half. They were letting that thing go, all right? It was crazy. Diamond Miller scored 12 points in the first 5 minutes of this game. Maryland put up 41 points in the first quarter. They had 69 at the break. Caitlin Clark kept her team in it as much as they could, and Maryland was throwing stuff at her. It's kind of like slow you down. The others, I mean, y'all could hurt us, but you're not hurt, and she still got off for 29. That said, Maryland handled business, man. They did what they've been doing. They beat Iowa in a shootout 111-93. Katie Benson broke the program record with 9 3-pointers, 8 in the first half. She had a career high 29 points. Ashley Owusu had 24 points and a career high 12 assists. Diamond Miller had 27. Like I said, 12 of those came in the first 5 minutes of the game. Caitlin Clark finished with 36. She had 29 of those, as I just mentioned, in the first half. Maryland faces Purdue on the road this Thursday. There's a couple quick notes. Brenda Freeze, after the game, talking to press, she believes that Caitlin Clark is the best freshman in the country. Katie Benson, she can shoot the ball, like really shoot the ball. She came into this game shooting over, I think, 51% from beyond the arc. It didn't go down today. She hit 9 threes. By the way, she went 9 of 10 from 3 today. That 9 of 10 from 3. 9 of 10 from 3. I'm gonna say it a couple times because I watched it and it was hard for me to hear. She's one of the grad transfers, and she showed out after the game. She was talking about one of the things she was so excited about is playing with Ashley Owusu, where Benson, obviously they're both point guards. Benson does a lot of her work off the ball, and just talked about how much of a blessing it is playing with Ashley, where even if she's open for 1 second, she knows the ball's on the way. Maryland, Angel Reese popped back up today. How about that? We were hearing reports like, oh, maybe in the postseason. Nah, she played today. She's cleared. I think it was about 8 minutes today. But just having her back out there, obviously, she's not going to look like she looked before she left. But she had a couple flashes of Angel being Angel, getting the rebound, pushing the ball down the court is the 5 at the time. It was just fun to watch Maryland do what they do. Again, it was a battle between 2 of the top scoring teams in the nation. That's why that score is not surprising. What is surprising is just how efficiently they shot the ball from beyond the arc, which was ridiculous. And again, Maryland's getting a lot of love for what they've done offensively. Their defense has been crazy. And shout out to Diamond Miller for that too. She's really responded to the challenge to be a better two-way player. And her and Ashley Owusu have taken some very good strides in their sophomore campaign. As I said, Thursday, they play Purdue. What we're going to do is take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to get into this whole NBA All-Star discussion, which I think is going to be very interesting. You're watching the Focus TV. Welcome back to the Focus TV. As promised, we're going to get into this NBA All-Star discussion. Cardell, I'm going to go ahead and cede the floor to you. It was your idea. I know it hurt a little bit getting my team together, But after seeing what the actual release list was, I feel fine with my decisions.
So you rather I start, or you want me to just take over the
Yeah,
segment? What do
yeah.
you guys?
You can take over the segment, sir.
Um. Okay, sir. Obviously, NBA All Star Weekend is on the way. We already saw the starters last week on TNT. Today, the reserves came out. Obviously, there's a lot of drama on social media. I don't want to look at it. I'm tired. I don't feel like getting another headache. I'm gonna let them argue and debate. But since we cover the league, we pretty much seen everybody. I thought it'd be good for us, obviously, to name our teams and in its entirety, starters and reserves. So we're gonna start with Octavia, and we're gonna go from there.
Okay, so I picked who I wanted to pick, just to throw that out there. I'll go ahead and just start. So in the East,
Carmelo.
you took my joke. I was gonna do that when I got to the West. I was gonna be like, all right, number one, Melo, and they were like, "Sight." I'm sorry.
John Morant.
Took my
Melo, start.
But we'll get to that though. I'll start in the East. For the East, I got Kevin Durant. Well, these are the people that I picked. It's not necessarily the people that were picked. I picked Kevin Durant for starter, Joel Embiid for starter, Giannis Antetokounmpo for starter, Bradley Beal for starter, and the one that I swapped out, I did not pick Kyrie for starting. I picked Jaylen Brown. As far as reserves, I did have Jason Tatum, Ben Simmons, Zach LaVine, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Julius Randle, and I threw a wild card in there. I picked Fred VanVleet. And then for the West, my starters were LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, Kawhi Leonard, and I did some swapping at the guards. I picked Donovan Mitchell and Damian Lillard. As far as reserves, I have Luka, I have Anthony Davis, I have Devin Booker, Rudy Gobert, Zion Williamson, and I have Steph Curry. And then as the alternate, just because everybody knows Anthony Davis is injured, he more than likely will not play. To take his place, I could see them doing Chris Paul. That's what I would have done, but obviously Chris Paul's been selected. But yeah, so that's my list.
Okay, Raymond.
All right, for the Eastern Conference starters, I had Kyrie, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Giannis, and Joel Embiid. For the reserves, I had James Harden, Gordon Hayward, Julius Randle, Zach LaVine, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Ben Simmons. It was I didn't want to overthink it because I found myself trying to find a reason to put Van Vliet, Sabonis, and Vucevic in there somewhere. But I mean, it's the All-Star game. It's fun. It's not supposed to be some type of science project. So I just went with the first names that came up. For the Western Conference, for starters, I had Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, LeBron, Kawhi Leonard, and Nikola Jokic. And for the reserves, I had Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, Paul George, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, Devin Booker, and Luka. And again, on the Western Conference, I had it was tough for me to leave off actually Chris Paul and De'Aaron Fox because they've been having good seasons up to this point. But again, I don't want to make my brain hurt over All-Star game rosters, so I just just went ahead and went with my gut. But yeah, man, my whole thing about this anyway, it's only 24 slots, 12 per conference. Somebody's going to get left out. That just is what it is, man. It's just not enough room for everybody who's deserving.
All right, Wilson.
All right, for my East starters, I had Kyrie, Bill, Durant, Giannis, and Embiid. My reserves were Harden, DeMontis Sabonis, Julius Randle, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Zach LaVine, and Ben Simmons. For my West starters, Curry and Lillard in the backcourt, then Braun, Kawhi, and the Joker. The reserves: Donovan Mitchell, Luka Doncic, Paul George, Anthony Davis, Rudy Gobert, and then the backcourt of the Phoenix Suns and Devin Booker and Chris Paul.
All right, this is my turn. With the East, Giannis, Brad Beal, KD, Embiid, and Kyrie. Starting, and in my reserves: Jaylen Brown, Julius Randle, Domantas Sabonis, Jason Tatum, Zach LaVine, Ben Simmons, and James Harden. The West starters: Steph, Dame Lillard, LeBron, Nikola Jokic, Kawhi Leonard, and my reserves is Luka Doncic, Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, Paul George, Chris Paul, Rudy Gobert, and I got Zion Williamson if Anthony Davis is out, which more than likely he will be. So if he's out, I got Zion getting there.
All right. I don't think those were too far off from. Go ahead, Cardo.
I was just going to ask y'all, who do y'all feel? Do you got the actual reserves, the actual list? I need to look it up.
I do.
Give me a second. I'll pull it up. Oh, go ahead, Octavia.
I got it up already. Yeah, so I gotta find the right tab. It's open now. Okay, so of course we know for the starters for the East we have Kyrie Irving, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Joel Embiid. It was pretty much a clean sweep for all of us except for me. I was being devil's advocate, of course. And then as far as don't laugh. And then your reserves for the East are James Harden, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Julius Randle, Nikola Vucevic, Ben Simmons, and Zach LaVine. Then for your West All-Stars, starters, you have Luka Doncic, Stephen Curry, LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, Kawhi Leonard as your starters. And in the backcourt, in the reserves, you have Damian Lillard, Chris Paul, Anthony Davis, Rudy Gobert, Zion Williamson, Donovan Mitchell, and Paul George.
Okay. So pretty much, we're looking at my list. I think the only one I got wrong as far as with the actual list is Vucevic instead of Sabonis, which I was going back and forth on. But, Indiana being in fourth place, I gave them the nod because they winning. You know what I mean? So with that being said, there were some snubs, and as you can see, so who do you feel that didn't make it should have made it? Because we hearing people saying DeMar DeRozan, Trae Young, or Devin Booker. You know what I mean? We had Devin Booker, but he didn't make it. Who do y'all feel should have made it?
For me, I'm gonna start with
Tobias Harris is another good one. Tobias.
Yeah, but I'm gonna start with the fact that Dame's not starting. I get it's the whole voting situation, but I appreciate the fact that Luka came out and said that he should be starting over him. Obviously, I mean they're fifth in the West. He's lost 3 key players this year from his starters. And even the players that are playing now are coming back from injuries, Rodney Hood, Robert Covington. And then they have a lot of younger players that are trying to step up and step into roles. But Dame is playing out of his mind like he's been playing these last couple of years, in my opinion. I mean, he's tied for the most 30-point games. He's second in clutch points. I just thought that I hate the whole voting thing for starters. I get the whole process of it for the fans and everything, but I just hate it. I wish that they could sub people out. As far as who didn't make it at all, I think Devin Booker is my number one choice as far as it, just because, I mean, if you've paid attention to anything this season, Devin Booker has been going off. I really think that the addition of Chris Paul has given him more freedom, I guess, where he doesn't feel like he has to do everything by himself. And he could kind of just play a little bit looser and a little bit freer, and you could see how it's been paying off. But that was my biggest snub. Although, like you said, there's only 12 spots for each team. There's always going to be somebody left off. Watching the pregame for the games tonight, where they released all the names of who was going to be reserved, D Wade made a good point that I never thought of. All these players that are 6 men coming off the bench, like they're averaging 20 plus points a game on good teams, but they're never really getting to get to an all-star game because of, they're the 6 man off the bench. So it's kind of tough. So he proposed that maybe they figure out some type of way to incorporate a 6-man roster into it. I thought that was interesting. I don't know how it would actually work, if it would work. I just thought that was a good point. Because if you think about it, like Lou Will for the past eons of years has been a top tier player, 6-man in the year, but you don't see him in many all-star games. So I just thought that was a cool point.
D-Wade, my man, but he got chill with the Kumbaya stuff, dog. It look like I said, 2020. He do. Everything can't be all player friendly, dog. It's just a reality. It's only on 24 spots. Everybody ain't gonna make it.
Yeah,
it is what it is. I know probably who they talking about, Jordan Clarkson, because he's balling for the Jazz. He's killing off the bench. You know what I mean? But there's a reason why they're the 6-man too. You know what I mean? He got two other monsters on the Jazz. He got two other monsters on the Jazz that allow him to do what he do, which is score. Now, if he was in the starting role, we saw him in the starting role for a few years. It wasn't quite the same impact. It's different when you playing more minutes, the coach is putting the ball in your hands more, and you're at the top of the team scouting charts. Whereas you might now be third or fourth because we got to worry about Donovan, Rudy Gobert, Ingles, and all these other guys. So everybody, look, man, like I said, it's only 24 spots. Everybody can't get in. Just like everybody can't make the league. It's only 450 jobs. So you got to find other ways to make a living doing this. It's called life. You know what I mean? And I really believe, looking at the list, who the coaches, because they normally select the reserves. To me, they did a hell of a job. They did a hell of a job. They rewarded guys who were hooping and winning. You know what I mean? And it was tougher in the East because that was a harder conference because there's so many below 500 teams. I mean, like I said, it's a bonus, and the Pacers are 15 or 14. They're the 4th seed. You know what I mean? Like, it was tough. But if you go all the way down to Orlando, they're 13 and 18. They're only like 3 games behind them. So, and the Blazers 3.5 games behind them. That just tells you the disparity. It's crazy right now. So, nah, man, everything, they don't need to change nothing, man. The All-Star game is the All-Star game. It's for the best 24 players of that season. It's simple. Look, if he won a shot at, if guys want shots at trying to be an All-Star, try to get that starting lineup or go to a different team where you can be in a star role or something like that. It is what it is. And I get it. I get what you're saying. I'll tell you, like the fans, they lost me years ago when they had Zaza starting in center for months. You know, then they had
I wish they would just take it away from them, period. But I know they can't.
Oh, if you ask them, us in the media, we don't need a vote. You know what I mean? Because we're trash. We don't get me wrong. It is some trash media voters. We ain't gonna sit up here and act like it's not.
I mean, I'm a narrative like that voter. Regardless of who votes. I feel like no matter who votes, it's always gonna be off somewhere. Regardless if it's the fans, regardless if it's the coaches, regardless if it's the media, somebody gonna do something stupid. So I take all that back.
And even the players. They had Donovan Mitchell 5th.
Them too.
Paul George 5th.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
and I'm like,
especially
they got the best record in the league. Y'all, they biased too. That's my point. You know what I'm saying? But they have like, y'all ain't never played the league, man. Y'all biased too. If y'all don't like the dude, y'all not gonna vote for him and all that, man. Come on, man. We not about to have that. So it's just BS on all sides, which is why I'm glad they kind of let the coaches select on the bench because the coaches know they got to prepare for him. You know what I mean? So
that's true.
They know who the real deal is. So, we're going to go for that. But, yeah, everybody can't make the All-Star team. We ain't about to have, like, 40 spots and stuff like that just to keep everybody happy, man. Step your game up. It's as simple as that. So Wilson and Raymond, who do y'all feel were snubs?
I think they that spot that Zion got the book. And like you said, I think we both did it for our teams where Book had the spot and we assume that AD's not playing. Zion get in, with AD not playing. And it's not knocking young boy. But you tell younger players to go do things. Zion and his team haven't been able to check all the boxes yet. Where I feel like with Book, we told him last year, y'all weren't winning, right? They're winning now. To me, Book checked all the boxes. He should be in there. And with the Vooch and Sabonis thing, I'm with you. I gave it to Demonis because they're winning. I know the Pacers don't get any love or people pay them any mind. They've been consistently a solid team in the East the entire year, and I love Vucevic. Dude, people barely notice him. He gives
Yeah,
some of
he's
your
like,
favorite bigs work. He's outstanding. Trust me, I'm happy. So like I'm kind of torn because I'm happy he's getting the recognition he deserves, especially by the coaches, which speaks volumes because he is a load to prepare for. So freaking skilled. But yeah, I went with Sabonis because of his team is winning. So I mean, I get it, but like, yeah, Sabonis and Book would have been my two snubs.
and Raymond.
Yeah, man. Like I said earlier, it's kind of hard for me to get into that whole thing just because the roster limits and all. But I mean, some guys are deserving. Like I had Devin Booker on my list, and and I agree with everything you guys said about Sabonis. Like I said, I was trying to do mental gymnastics to figure out a way to get him in there. You know what I'm saying? But it's I just don't take it that serious, man. Like, and I know for the players, it's like money tied to it and all that. But everybody's not going to make it. It's going to be a problem every single year, no matter what. So yeah, and then I agree with you wholeheartedly, Cardell, on the D Wade thing. Like no, we don't need to find a way to accommodate people. Just put your work in, and you be in you be in one of those slots. As simple as that. Like it's just not possible to make everybody happy, and that shouldn't be anybody's responsibility. And I kind of like the fact that people get snubbed, so to speak, because sometimes it causes them to go on a tear. Like we seen that with Damian Lillard before. I like the guys take that personal. Even like going back, we saw it with Gilbert Arenas. He got left off one year, and then that was like the beginning of Agent Zero. So yeah, man, keep it how it is. Like, don't reinvent the wheel. It's 12 roster spots for the West, 12 for the East. And if you make it, you make it. If you don't, you don't. And if you don't, then maybe next time you play somebody that made it over you that you think shouldn't have, circle that date on your calendar and let that game decide why you should have made it over them. That's how I carry it. And so yeah, man, it's I get it. If they're in the league, they want to be recognized, they want to be on that platform, and that's cool and all. But if you don't make it, you tweeting about it or doing anything is going to change that. Only thing that's going to change it is you getting it in on the court. So you live with it and go back to the drawing board.
Or you can step your game up and earn it. Bill got snubbed last year. And I know he said, I don't feel like it's much difference, but I don't believe him. He know it's a difference. He's totally on a different level. He's playing at the NBA. He's playing like at an MVP level. If they had more wins, he would be in that conversation. Like, you weren't leading the league in scoring last year, bro. Like, nah, it's a big difference. Even defensively, I see you getting more after it is, dog. I'm look. He's that's my look. The Wizards are third to last in the East. They're third to last in the East, and we just talked about how mediocre the East is, right? They were even worse last year, right? He stepped this game up where he leading the league in scoring. We can't deny him. Hey, come on. Not only is he not coming in as a reserve, he's starting. He was the first name on the damn show. That's what you got to do. You got to step your game up, man. Like, you can't keep rewarding them up. Like, you can't reward everybody, dog. You gonna water down everything, trying to keep everybody happy, man. Like, they're killing me with this. I don't know, this soft ass hair. Like, stop, man. Just stop. If you want to be in that game, it's the way to do it, where it's no doubt. Kill, dog. Like, leave no doubt. Like, man, we got to get him, man. It's no way in hell. Kill. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. All right, cool. 20 to 24 points a game because of the no defense and stuff like that. It don't hold as much weight as averaging that back in the day. When you getting beat up, you gotta keep carrying that. So you might have to average 30. Step your game up and average 30. Ja Morant could be mad. Hell, his team got a better record than Zion. All that. He leading the pack, and he's only a game behind Luka. A game behind Luka right now, and he's leading that team. He could be mad, but you can't sit up here and say he's deserving over Dame and Steph and Chris Paul at point guard. You can't just say that. So Oh man, you can't please everybody, man. I like what they did. I like the picks, man. It's actually one of the more solid All-Star game selections overall. I'm seeing obviously people killing everybody about Trae Young. You know, man, Trae Young can play, but that defense, man, he got to get it together. Man, Atlanta, they're 13-17, bro. He ain't really won a lot of games since he been there. He putting up a lot of numbers, but the wins ain't coming. So yeah, the coach is hit.
Mm-hmm. He had a real bad stretch too. I think like in January.
Yeah, with
He's
the
doing a lot of
turnovers.
crying too.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing a lot of crying too.
I'll tell you, don't play that crying. Don't play that crying. Oh,
So is doing a lot of crying out there.
look, but my point is, that's a perfect example. Win games. We expected the Hawks to be in the playoffs right now, bro. It's like ever since that trade with Collins came out, the little trade leak, it's been downhill. Come on, man. The Wizards 2 games behind you, man. Just it seemed like last week the Wizards had like 4 wins, man. You see what I'm saying? It's just crazy. You got
That
Chicago
five-game
in
winning
the
streak
8 seed, bro.
is-
The Knicks in the 7th seed. Yeah, think about it. The Bulls are the 8 seed in the East right now. You see how Zach LaVine elevated his game, and they're getting wins, bro. We did not expect the Bulls to be in any playoff race this year at any point this season. We weren't even thinking about them. Now here they are. Even New York, Julius Randle got them turned around. He got New York turned around. Come on. Wilson happy. Look at him. He actually smirking.
He about to go back.
Yes, yeah.
No. I'm not going back. I'm good. No. It's not even about that. Hey, look, the teams that stay on my list, they give me enough stress. I'm not going back to that. That is a toxic relationship. I am not going back. They took my whole childhood away. I'm not messing with that. My whole childhood went away.
The Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah.
They not bad.
Charlotte Hornets, look, they tied with the Bulls for the AC. Gordon Hayward. That Mike signing him and everybody was clowning. Yeah, remember that? They was clowning him when he let Kemba walk, and he signed Gordon Hayward, and they like, man, that dude coming off a grade 3, coming back in the playoffs, showing how tough he is. I know Mike understood how severe that injury was. That showed him something. So I know he tough. Drafting LaMelo Ball, got them young boys hooping. They tied for 8th in the East right now. That's elevation. He could be mad. Hold on. Let me see what he's averaging right now. He's averaging 21.9 points, 5.4 rebounds, 3.7. 48% from the field, 42% from 3, 86% from the free throw line. He could be mad. He could be a snub. You can't reward everybody, though. So win games, get to the playoffs, make noise, and that's how you get in people's get in their ear, get in their head for next year. Simple as that.
Sometimes it's almost like people are rewarded for their production, and it's a results-based business. Sometimes it's just that simple. It's a results-based business. Again, if Brad wasn't leading the lead in scoring, it would be tough to throw him in this game with his team with their current record. But he's leading the league in scoring. People are throwing things at him because of it. Go ahead.
Yo, we cover the Wizards. I get it, but we keep it real on the show. He was not an all-star last year, Brad Beal. Stop saying he was snubbed.
No.
They were
he wasn't.
It was hard to watch them last year. They were horrible. They were horrible, dog. No defense. Their defense last year made the defense earlier before this stretch of games where they started winning, made them dudes look like they was all NBA defense in comparison. It was horrible. It was horrible, dog. Like, nah, man. We ain't going there. I understand there was a lot of injuries and stuff, but no, we ain't gonna play those games. He wasn't snubbed. Not at all.
This last year. He wasn't this last year at all. Not remotely this last year. And that's not it's just being honest. It's night and day, the difference between last year and this year. And clearly everybody recognizes where you go from, oh, maybe he was snubbed to voted in as a starter. Kind of a big difference.
It's a clear difference.
Kind of a big reason why, right? Nationally, it's not like you're on TV nationally every night. So your game probably did a whole lot of speaking this year versus last year. Results-based business. We're going to take our second break. Jamal Hayward, a 9-4-50 breakdown. This week, what does he have for us? This week is a breakdown of an escape dribble out of a combo move. Again, it's a breakdown of an escape dribble out of a combo move. Check out 9450 breakdown when we return. Get a couple questions of rapid fire in before we close. You're watching the Focus TV.
Guys, grab here and went that way with it. Now, guard, okay? All through this, okay? So I'm gonna drag here, okay? I'm gonna turn this way. So create space. Drag here. Now this second between. It's fast, okay? Now if Turk plays that second between, so I'm going here. I'm here, okay? So now go downhill and then come back up. So I'm here. Downhill. Okay, so again. Here. Quick. Down. So you see my right foot. Alright, go to that second swing. Right foot here, and then go out. Okay? Push forward, towards me. That's it. Good. Way to go. Drag. Going here, again. So, going slowly. Here. Not a drag. So I push forward. Second swing. Here. Okay? Oh. Come back to her. Come back to her. Here. Push forward. Guys, grab here and went that way with it. Now, guard, okay? All through this, okay? So I'm gonna drag here, okay? I'm gonna turn this way. So create space. Drag here. Now this second between. It's fast, okay? Now if Turk plays that second between, so I'm going here. I'm here, okay? So now go downhill and then come back up. So I'm here. Downhill. Okay, so again. Here. Quick. Down. So you see my right foot. Alright, go to that second swing. Right foot here, and then go out. Okay? Push forward, towards me. That's it. Good. Way to go. Drag. Going here, again. So, going slowly. Here. Not a drag. So I push forward. Second swing. Here. Okay? Oh. Come back to her. Come back to her. Here. Push forward.
Welcome back to the Focus TV. As always, special thanks to Jamal Hayward for knocking out the 9450 breakdown each and every week. Cardell, we got time for a rapid fire question. What do you have for us this week?
Sure, brother. Sure, brother. It's Black History Month. Stop being depressed over rapid fire all the time. Come on, man.
I mean, hey, look, it's easy for you to say that. You're not on this side of it, but I hear you. Sounds good.
I answer right. Let's go. All right. Third question.
But you know the answer already.
The answer to what? It's a discussion. What are you talking about?
You got it.
Good Lord. Minnesota Timberwolves Karl Anthony Towns host for more head coaching diversity in the NBA. Obviously, the initial reaction from Karl Anthony Towns when he learned that Chris Finch would replace Ryan Saunders as head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves was shocked. He said, like the rest of the world, Towns found out Sunday through social media after the team's loss in New York to the Knicks, their fourth straight defeat. He said, I was eating my Joe's pizza in New York with my father, and the next thing you know, news came out, and we were all shocked. Towns said, but once that initial emotion faded, the two-time NBA All-Star became supportive of the decision. However, he couldn't help but notice a strong reaction from his league peers such as Portland Trailblazers guard Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum in regards to another African American being passed over for a head coaching role in current Wolves assistant David Vanderpool. Towns said, I'd be remiss if I didn't come on here and mention the amazing work that men of color are doing in this world, not only in every other sport and through social justice and every other part of this world and in the organization, or whatever the case may be, but for basketball. For what my job is, there's a lot of amazing men of color out there that deserve the opportunity to lead a team and to run an organization and have a chance to make their mark in this league, not with their jersey on, but with the suit on. And I say that with meaning. Out of 30 NBA teams, there are currently 7 black head coaches, even though the league is 75% black. Lloyd Pierce, Steven Silas of the Rockets, J.B. Bickerstaff with the Cavs, Monty Williams with the Suns, Dwayne Casey with the Pistons, Doc Rivers with the Sixers, and Tyronn Lue with the Clippers. Just what are your thoughts, first off, with the Timberwolves' new hire and with them not kind of promoting David Vanderpool and just the lack of opportunities for, black men in general to get in the front office, high-ranking positions in the front office, even though we dominate this game and have done so pretty much forever. We're going to start with you, Octavia.
I think it's crazy. Learning more about it and reading more into it. Number one, like the fact that they fired a coach and then hired an assistant from another team in the same season. To me, it's just crazy. Any other time somebody gets fired within an organization, they appoint an interim coach for the remaining of that season to keep some type of continuity, you would think. So I just, number one, thought that was crazy. I don't know if it's been done before or if this was the first time I've ever personally seen it. And again, just to piggyback off of what Karl Anthony Towns is saying, it's a slap in the face regardless. I mean, it's what it boils down to. You have this person that is obviously widely respected within the organization, obviously, somebody that they trust. And to at least not even, and I may be wrong. I don't know if they did interview him or whatever. But, not to even give him a look or give him a chance is just crazy to me. And I know we always talk about Rooney Rule, and who knows if the NBA will ever even get some type of rule like that. But even in the NFL, we see the Rooney Rule isn't completely working. There has to be something else that we can do. And I'm the first person to say that I don't personally know what that is, but it's something that people need to get together and make a plan, something, because like you said, the fact that we make up 75% of the league and so few coaches of color have head positions. That's another thing I would be interested to look in, is that, yes, we know who has head positions, but how many assistants within the NBA are black? I would love to know that percentage as well, because I'm pretty sure it's pretty high, which shows you that we have capable people who can do the job, but they're just not getting the opportunities. Even if we go back to the whole Steve Nash situation, and never saying that Steve Nash was not qualified for the position, quote unquote, but the fact that so many other black coaches were qualified for the position and never even got a chance. It's crazy. I don't know what we need to do. We need to do something to fix it because it's just ludicrous at this point.
Raymond.
Yeah, man, I'm with Octavia. It was kind of strange to me that they fire a coach mid-season and get and get the staff and fill the position with somebody from another team. Like she said, is typically you just do an interim guy through the end of the year, then you go through your interview process in the off season. So I was, like reading it. I had to read it like 3 or 4 times to make sure I was reading it correctly, but yeah, man, it's no need dancing around it. This it's an issue. It's been an issue for a long time, especially with a qualified guy with a lot of experience right there on the bench. I once I heard that Saunders was being let go, I just assumed that Vanderpool would walk into that interim position, which maybe that's naive on my part, but it's, and I'm not surprised that Dame and CJ were one of the first players to have something to say because he was with them and and they grew with him and they had success with him, so they know firsthand what the type of work he puts in. But yeah, it's something's got to give, man. But we know the challenge that comes with that. These owners aren't looking to empower Black people within their organizations. But for all this talk about this being the player empowerment era and all that stuff, and the players obviously object to Black guys getting overlooked for these positions. Why don't you use some of that power and go to your franchise, and put some pressure on them, make some suggestions about who you want to see in these roles. I mean, the NBA it's a players' league, so if certain guys were to go to their GM or owner or what have you, it's some guys in the league that wield that power to kind of put some pressure on them like that. But I don't know, man. I don't even know if that would yield the results that we're looking for. It's confusing. It's hard to put into words because it really just doesn't make sense, And Octavian made another good point. A lot of top assistants are Black. And so if you're good enough to be the lead guy on the bench after the head coach, after a while, you should be good enough to head up your own team. So, we know what it is. We know the world we live in. So, I guess the only way to change it would be to get some Black guys in those decision-making positions. And that's a completely different hurdle in itself. But yeah, man, it's every time something like this comes up, it's tough because we know how hard these guys work. And yeah, man, it's just in a African American dominated game. It's always it's never a good feeling to look up and not see people that look like you in places of leadership, especially when they've done everything to deserve the shot.
Wilson.
I'm not too shocked. Just kind of a reminder of just across pro sports where a lot of words can be said or whatever, but one thing has been clear that the idea or the image of leadership for a lot of folks, a lot of owners across sports, that folks that look like us don't exactly, align with their preferences. No matter, regardless of the sport, we see this across the board. My biggest issue with this is, yes, Vanderpool is extremely deserving, but if you had conviction about Finch, why didn't you get rid of Saunders off top and hire Finch to begin with when you came in? Like, that's what I don't like about it. Show some conviction. Are you only doing this now because your seat's a little warm? And if that's the case, I guess, like I said, I saw that him and Finch go back. I think it's Rojas. Him and Finch go back. But I don't like the fact, to me, it doesn't feel like there's any conviction behind it. But yeah, I'm not shocked by it. And then another thing is, for the most part, as sadly as it is, and again, this happens across sports, when folks that look like us finally do get a chance, it's usually after the organization done fumbled the bag so bad that there's almost no coming back out of it, right? But then it's time to go put a black face and like when it's a mess that you just can't possibly fix. Hey, then it's time. It's our time for whatever reason. It's disgusting. Again, it's like that across sports. The first thing that comes to mind, I think about the Cardinals, what they did with Steve Wilkes. Hey, come here, buddy. Tank. New guy comes in, no NFL coaching experience, number one pick on board. Build what you want. Octavia brought up Nash, and not to pick on Steve, but this is just a thing that happens on a regular basis. Jacques Vaughn is right there. We saw the job Jacques Vaughn did with that same group before Nash was hired. And yeah, he stayed on staff. But again, think about that. You're expected to stay on staff after they look over you. They literally have an issue of, you know what I'm saying, like the disconnect between you can do every job all the way to underneath leader. Whole staff, all black is love, no issues. But at the tippity top, associate, head coach, but not head coach. But like Ray said, Octavia said, it's not a surprise. It's gonna have to change. The front office is changing a little bit. Obviously wish it was a meritocracy. It was based off the results, actual results, and the work people put in. But these goalposts magically move each and every time this comes up, regardless of whatever sport it is. But go ahead, Curtis.
Just talking to the coaches off wax in the NBA fraternity, so to speak. They kind of always harp at that. They feel like it's a subliminal message that they don't have the IQ, the acumen to do the job. It's like they still kind of look at guys, especially if you're a former player, which most of us have to be. You know what I'm saying? It's ironic. We had to put in work in high school, college. Playing some pro is definitely a bonus. And then maybe you can get a job where you want a bench or in the front office or maybe. Whereas they're hiring literally dudes with no basketball experience to lead scouting departments because they wrote good for rivals or something like that, or they're friends with a coach that you may know. It's ridiculous, man. It's not even, and it's like, damn, we fit every. We got everything. We done everything. What more do we need to do? But it's funny how they look at us, talking to coach, they say they look at us like we don't have the intelligence to do it. Think about it. Patrick Ewing, he should have got an opportunity. One of the greatest players of all time. He can't teach the game, but he's good enough for college. I get it. So, all right. So we're not intelligent. I'm talking about black athletes, black basketball players. But the ironic thing is, do they understand how much information you have to process to play this game in a second to make a play? It's a lot of stuff you got to read and read it right away. It's not just some faster, stronger, or jump higher or more skilled or something like that. You have to have the know-how to utilize all of that. Otherwise, you're gonna mess up. You're not gonna be a very good player. That's intelligence. It's a thing called basketball IQ. The better you are, the more your IQ probably is up to par where you can maximize everything that you bring to the table. You don't think they could be able to translate that to players? You see, I just don't understand. And I'm not knocking this guy Finch. He played the game. He put in his work as well. But it just seemed a little quick when they knew they was gonna fire Ryan Saunders. It's like they fired him, and like 10 minutes later, homie had the job. It wasn't even. Like Raina said, like, damn, normally the interim guy, the assistant would get the interim gig, the interim spot. Show us what you got. And then in the summertime, we attack with his label. They just, it's almost like they already had this dude in mind from the jump if the season ain't go well. Vanderpool, who's a local product, he went to Montgomery Blair, then he went to St. Bonaventure. He's from the area. He was there as Portland built the team up to where they're competing in the Western Conference Finals. Dane came in. Dane was special. Dane was special from the get-go. That's why he was a high pick. CJ McCollum took him a while. He went off in the tournament. He got drafted. He had to go back and forth with the G League, develop. But once he came back up, he was ready to go. As you see what he is, and waiting for him to get healthy so he could join Dame and go on this run. David Vanderpool had a hand in that because that's what the assistants do. They're the ones out on the court and the practice court, whatever, for the most part, working with these guys when the head coach is up there devising the game plan or whatnot. So look at the production, look at the development of players and the success those Portland Trailblazer teams have had compared to now. And like Wilson said, even if he got the job, it always seems kind of it always seems kind of the fact that we always get the trash jobs. Like look at Silas in Houston. James Harden don't want to be there, also don't even want to give him a chance or something. So now he got to pick up the pieces with this franchise. It seems like we always got, even when you get the job, it's not the job where you can win from. That's why I was happy. Hey, he can't coach. That's why we don't hire him. All right, but y'all giving with all due respect, y'all giving the white boys the power jobs. Like Vogel walk right into LeBron. You know, and AD. You know what I'm saying? Steve Nash walking to KD, Kyrie. Come on, Harden. Name a black dude that got that type of opportunity outside of Doc. Yeah, outside the Doc.
Nobody outside of Doc.
And it took Brett Brown
even when Doc first started,
mediocre finishes to get there. Yeah, well, Orlando, exactly. Well, Orlando and the Boston teams. Oh man, yeah. Woo. We always we always get the rock bottom jobs, and then you wonder why we lose. We ain't got the talent. Like, how we gonna compete, man? But you saw what Doc did when he got KG and them boys. Got a chip, right? Now he a coaching genius.
Because my
bad, Ty Lue. But my bad. People might say, well, Ty Lue got the job with the Clippers and stuff, but he was already on staff with because of Doc and whatnot. Now, but what happened in Cleveland when LeBron left? Same difference. So my point is, when is it going to be just about? Yeah. So my point is, when is it just going to be about? Can you do the job and actually giving black coaches time to build a program, so to speak, within the organization? 2 or 3 years, you can't do that, man, because it's going to take you 2 or 3 years just to start getting your players in there. So because players around the league talk. So if it's going to take a minute for you to kind of build a rep. Fizdale, shout out to Ronnie, good luck on that. Same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like he should have never left Miami if he knew what was going to happen.
They didn't
like, bro, we can't win for nothing, but we dominate this game. 75%.
Oh, and that's the crazy part. As we close out,
we all know what it is, man.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Carter.
You was good.
Oh no, I was just going to say before we close, just keep in mind as you watch NBA games, the rest of this week, going in next week. Look at who's sitting next to the head coaches on every bench. Just look down next to the head coach and see who's closest to them on the bench from the right all the way down. Just keep track. It won't even take you too long. It's really interesting. Go ahead, Cardell.
Just whispering in their ear.
And why is that? Oh, so I guess they got us on the bench to kind of relate to the players, so they don't have to.
Player development.
Like, yeah, just talk to him.
Which is what goes on in college. Let's keep it a bean. That's what goes on in college a lot. So it's the same thing at the high level. So they get a lot of things. Hey, go talk to the player. You know, I like, why is he playing at Tupac or Kendrick? I don't understand. Like, that's all it is. I don't understand that music when we come in the locker.
Oh man.
You feel what I'm saying?
Again,
can you go talk to him? He said his girl pregnant. Can you go talk to the guy? He said his girl's pregnant and his two best friends got shot. And oh man, mom went to jail for selling drugs. What is going on? What is he involved with? They send a black assistant to go do that. And then they wonder why the player playing bad. And you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just it's for optic. It's so much BS, man. Oh man, But here's something real that I want to leave y'all with. This is the last thing I got to say. Why aren't more black players standing up for the black coaches? I'm gonna leave it alone. Player empowerment, right?
Earlier.
Well, maybe this is the start.
I ain't even saying that, but
Because I mean,
We'll see
Dame and
what time
CJ
Lakers
always
say.
got something to say. Dame and
No,
CJ
but that's
always
the
got
thing.
something
Yeah.
to say.
They do, but
But you're
But
right.
they're
Not all the big.
few
I've
far
seen
between.
You know, y'all
I've
favorite
seen
player
louder
didn't say
noises
nothing.
today about All-Star snubs. So,
Yeah.
things just be happening and such. Want to thank y'all for
Their
hanging with
favorite
us.
player ain't say nothing though.
Oh yeah, it's time for me to go. Want to thank y'all for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed the night. We definitely did too. Nope, not gonna get me, Octavia. Nope. Have fun on the Focus TV. Don't forget follow us on social. Get over to DCTV every Friday night, 10 p.m. Get over to DCTV.org if you want to check for when the show re-airs during the weekend. Octavia, not today. No. You guys have a great night. If anybody who's up late night watching the Wizards, don't forget follow us on social, Wizards Outlook. Tomorrow we got G League Rundown, all that good stuff. So Focus TV on all your social media mediums. Y'all have a great night. Oh man, Octavia, you tried. Ooh, I was about to respond too.
I mean, it's facts though. It's facts.
Oh boy.
He done left a lot of bodies in the graveyard.